blowing the snow from last week back onto the road. Like now. And back into it. Here we go. Alright. I mean, it's really cool looking. Because, like, you can really get a good feel for how the air is moving around all the vehicles as they go. Like, you just watch the wake that car is leaving in the streams of snow along the pavement. It's very neat. You can see all the little eddies and swirls. It's cool. It's really cool if you're, you know, like me, and the whole visualizing air as a fluid thing is a thing that you find interesting. We've been through this before. I'm strange. I think about that sort of thing. It's very nice when you get a method of visualizing the movement of the air, because you guys have no reference for the kind of wind that I'm experiencing, unless you get something like this where the snow is just streaming across the highway and the truck is wobbling and shaking and occasionally just drifting to the left a few feet. Now there's a snow drift coming across the road. Let's nick the edge of that real quick. Bump, 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 bump. Alright. That'll help break that up and maybe get some of it clear of the road again before the next plow comes in. If you just avoid it, it just gets bigger. If you run it over, you can break the snow drift up a little bit and then it has to build back to where it was. You don't want to run over a really big snowdrift, because then that's, you know, that risks losing traction. But a little one like that, you can put a couple tires on it and try and break it up for the next person behind you. We are near Mitchell, South Dakota, home of the Corn Palace. A little too cold for the Corn Palace today. We will not be stopping to visit it, that's for sure. It is -1 degree Fahrenheit, singular degree. 1 Fahrenheit. That's like, what? It's 32, -17 or 18 Celsius. It's cold, okay? It's very cold. The truck's unhappy. The driver's unhappy. The passers-by are unhappy. Everybody's unhappy. It's too cold. Too cold. This is not the coldest it's been for us all day. We did hit -8 around Sioux Falls, South Dakota earlier today, but it's, you know, climbing a little bit toward noon. Guess we might be getting toward the high temperature for today, somewhere around 0 or 1 degree Fahrenheit. It's a little chilly. Just a little. Just a little. But yeah, we are headed back to Missoula. The load is not headed for Missoula, but I am personally headed to Missoula. I need to finish off some moving things to get myself officially a Montana resident. And no longer a Virginia resident. That will be fun. We'll have that done. Gonna get myself a nice Montana driver's license again. That'll be cool. Haven't had one of those since I did training. The best part about Montana driver's licenses is it's much easier to get the gender marker changed on a Montana driver's license than on a Virginia driver's license. In Virginia, you gotta have a letter, and I can never get anyone to do the letter for me, because, you know, it's supposedly nice and easy. Like, you know, you just get this letter from your doctor. It's like, well, we won't take a letter from a doctor not in Virginia. It's like, well, my doctor's in Montana. It's like, well, we'll take a letter from a social worker. Well, every social worker I know has moved on, because Virginia makes it so difficult to give services to the unfortunate folks a plus. It's definitely a plus. Having an ID that reflects your apparent gender is very, very useful in the modern society. Especially in truck driving, because we have to hand our driver's licenses over to a lot of people. And you can always tell the folks that notice the gender marker incongruity, because they're the ones who suddenly treat you different afterward. So fun, so fun. But anyway, not a complaining video, I'm not complaining. We're just driving. We're just driving across the beautiful wasteland that is South Dakota. Einstein's Costume Rentals. That sounds exciting. Costume rentals. Why would you want a billboard for that? It's March. It's not October. I don't think anyone's walking down Main Street, Mitchell, South Dakota, when it's -1 degree outside, thinking, gosh, I need a costume. Oh, hey, look, a random train backing up with 3 locomotives. Where do you think they're going? I don't recognize the paint scheme on that middle locomotive, but it is a BNSF, so it's probably one of their heritage paint schemes. They did a thing a couple years back where they repainted a bunch of locomotives. So they still said BNSF on them, but a lot of them had paint schemes from older railroads that had become part of BNSF. So you can actually see, like, if you're familiar with the classic Santa Fe war bonnet paint scheme with the red nose of the tractor, the red nose of the locomotive with the silver body and the red stripe down the side. There's still some old Santa Fe locomotives that never got repainted. Hello, person. But there's also a couple of modern BNSF locomotives that have that paint scheme as a heritage thing, and that's kind of neat. So I think that's what that was, but I don't recognize the company that paint scheme's from. It might have been Great Northern. I don't remember if Great Northern was green or blue, but it kind of had a similar stripe pattern. Doesn't matter. I have friends who are much better at that sort of thing than I am. We've got to stop and get fuel here soon. We're getting to about a quarter tank. And I don't want it to get very low while we're in this cold snap. It'll give us an opportunity to add some anti-gel to our fuel as well. Though fueling up here, I mean, assuming the fuel pump is functional, means we're getting winterized diesel, because otherwise it would be gelled in the fuel tanks at the